Welcome on in, everybody, to They Are Not From Philly podcast. I am Adam from Wales, and I'm back. I'm feeling good now. Thank you to Drew on the last pod for stepping in to lead the boys, and it was a fantastic pod. I really enjoyed it. Probably one of the best ones we've done. So thanks, Drew, for stepping in. So I'm with Drew from Westchester, Justin from Tennessee, Corey from Columbus. Guys, it's been a wild few weeks, few months in Philadelphia. We've had the All-Star game. It was a really good night. If you're a lover of everything, historic about baseball, and obviously it was America's birthday, so it was a really good historic night. Fun night for the Phillies, fun night for Philadelphia. But since coming off that, it's been a bit of a downturn for the Phillies, and then we had a more crazy news. LeBron James decides to actually sign with the Philadelphia 76ers, and that throws the city into turmoil. I'd say most of the city are excited for LeBron. They're excited what he could bring. Hopefully help bring another championship. But there are some of us, myself, Corey, Justin, the other LeBronimous members yet to come out to the woodwork. We are not too happy about it. So we'll get into that a little bit later on. And Eagles training camp has started. So the Eagles are hard at work. Jalen is figuring out the new offense with Sean Mannion. The defense seemed to be rolling. Things are ticking along. So there's a lot of exciting things coming up in the next 2 weeks. We got Eagles preseason. We got the rest of the wild ride that the Phillies have us on at the moment. And then the Sixers are going to be starting up after that. So there's a lot of things to get into. So boys, let's start with the Phillies trade deadline. So it was an exciting day, I gotta say. I was going on this up and down emotional journey on Twitter all day, which I haven't really done before. I only do it at certain times of the year when I'm just proper like venting, going absolutely nuts, like a proper nutter. My true like hooliganism was sort of like coming out the time because I was just like, I wanted to kick Dave Dombrowski off a mountain at some point in the day, because he started off good by trading for Luis Ariz, and then we thought, wow, okay, he's brought in this really good hitter from the San Francisco Giants. He's an old school type baseball player. He gets on base, was won batting titles, can bring energy to the dugout. And then everything just went cold like the Phillies bats go in October, and nothing really happened for the rest of the day. I'm going out of my mind on Twitter. There's a lot of other Phillies fans going out of their mind. So how are you guys feeling about the Phillies trade deadline? I sort of give it a C plus because we brought in a really good position player, not a massive needle mover. He's had a good start so far. We'll see how he fares in October. We see if the Phillies give him an extension next year. But other than that, nothing really happened. We missed out on a lot of good players. We missed out on some good starting pitching. Missed out on some good bats that went. Mike Trout stayed in LA to play with that decimated Angels team. I don't know what Mike Trout is thinking. He's an absolute idiot. But there we go. So, boys, I'll hand it over to you. I don't know who wants to start, how they feel about the trade deadline, who's got more stronger emotions about it than me. I don't know. So who wants to go first?
I'll defer to Drew. I'm sure Drew's got some good points right off the bat.
Go on,
Then
Drew.
we'll let Corey
lead
go.
us off.
All right, let's do it. Yeah, look, I gave him a B minus for the day. I think, that morning before the action started, I basically listed 6, names I wanted him to get. It was, Randy Arozarena, George Springer, Brendan Donovan, Luis Ariz, Brooks Raley, and Antonio Senzatella. So the first 3 weren't traded. Senzatella went to the Brewers. He's a reliever from the Rockies. And then the Phillies came away with 2 of the 6. They came away with Luis Ariz. They came away with Brooks Raley. Look, I think those moves in a vacuum are good. Like, I'm pretty sure Ariz was basically, you could argue Adley Rutschman, going to the Sox and all, and they're just, insanely hot right now, and it's, insane. But I think outside of maybe him, Ariz, had the best statistics, highest OPS, highest batting average of any, player traded. So I think it's hard to it's hard to be mad about that. And I know Brooks Raley was bad the other night. He's having a really good year. I think he'll be fine. It's hard to be a lot worse than some of the guys they had in this bullpen. I think my big thing where I ding Dombrowski, and I believe in Painter and Nola probably more than most. I don't care that they didn't get a fifth starter. Where I penalize Dombrowski a little bit and think they could have done better is I thought, instead of kind of fire drilling this whole infield, I thought you had an opportunity to maybe, shake things up a little more, shed some of this baggage where, you could have attached a prospect to get a team to take on Alec Boehm and, get a right fielder. And in that case, Bryce stays at first base. And, basically the only position that really changes is Bryson goes to third, Arise goes to second, and everything's a little more stable there. And, also I think, that would be right fielder might have added a little more pop to your lineup. We can get into this a little bit later, but we know the one thing, Arise doesn't do particularly well is he doesn't hit home runs. And I stand on that, in the playoffs to win games, to, win 11 games, advance in the playoffs, you got to hit home runs. So yeah, look, I think he's gonna be really, well liked. I think, he's made a, big, you can tell, some of the impact he's made in these first couple games here. So I think they added two players who I like, and we'll see about Killian with the Giants. I think he has some good stuff. I know he struggled early, but it feels like there was one more move that they could have made and just didn't do it, and that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Yeah. Go on, Just.
So, yeah, I agree with Drew. I would have done anything and everything I could to get Bohm off this team. You had bases loaded last night. All you got to do is hit a deep fly ball. Bohm swings at the first pitch he sees and just drives it into the freaking ground. It's so infuriating, like Drew said, if you make a deal, any kind of deal to get Bohm off the team, all you're doing is putting Stott on third, getting, a right fielder, left fielder, whatever, because, you can move Marsh to right if the guy you get's a left fielder. And now, I mean, me and Adam were talking about it before you guys hopped on. You've got Jorge Soler who's out there. I know he's not a great fielder, but he's got some pop. You've got Rob Refsnyder, who was DFA'd. He kills left-handed pitching. He's not been great this year. He's had some injuries. I'd do anything to get Bohm off this team. I feel so sorry for like Jack, because Jack, he's kind of supported him, but now Jack's at the point like, get this guy off my team. I can't take it no more. And it's infuriating. And then to go like the point where I disagree with Drew, where I would have wanted them to try to kind of get a fifth starter, is they mentioned it yesterday on the afternoon show. Every year it seems like, when the Phillies are getting ready to make a playoff run, there's like a phantom IL stint for Suarez or Wheeler or somebody like that. They need to do that for Sanchez this year, I think. I think Sanchez is kind of letting down a little bit, losing steam. And if you had a fifth starter, you could throw a phantom IL out there to get Sanchez a break, get a breather, and go from there. That's where a fifth starter would have really came in handy. And luckily, this thing with Painter, his hamstring, it doesn't seem to be anything. I think they said they took some imaging and whatnot, so he's not going to miss any starts or anything like that. But you never know, because they only have 5 starters now. So, and going back to what Drew said, like with the hottest team in baseball right now, the Red Sox go get Adley Rutschman. What in the hell, man? This guy could be the Sox next version of Jason Varitek. He ain't even played a game yet. They won. They had a 15-game win streak, lost 1 or 2 here and there. Now they're at 9 in a row again. Beat the damn A's like they were mad at them last night, man. I mean, it's insane. Garrett Crochet ain't pitched in, I couldn't tell you when. And it's, Trevor Story's an afterthought. He's old. What Story gets healthy? Are you going to play him right now? Hell no. There ain't no way I put Story back in right now. This team is firing on all cylinders. hottest team in baseball. They were dead in the water. Now it's dirty water again, and they're rolling, guys. And I mean, it ain't like they're just beating bad teams. They swept the Dodgers, they swept the
Swept the
Yankees, they
Dodgers,
swept
yeah.
the Rays. You know, they're playing good baseball right now. But that's my thoughts on what the Phils and Sox do.
Yeah, I mean, Alec Bohm is lucky he's got a job this year because, like Corey said a few months ago on the radio, like Alec Bohm's only playing this year because Aiden Miller is hurt. Like, and they might end up keeping Alec Bohm next year if Aiden Miller is still hurt and he can't. And the thing is, they can't bring up Aiden Miller anytime soon now anyway, because when he is healthy, he's gonna have to do a stint in AAA for half the season to see how he is, and then maybe and that's if there's a season next year. If the baseball doesn't go on strike, you know, if there's a lockout. So there's all these different possibilities, and Alec Bohm could end up still being a part of the Phillies next year, which is a really scary thought because of the circumstances. So yeah, Cole, how are you feeling about the Phillies and stuff at the moment? I know you've been really like frustrated and you've sort of checked out, but have you
Yeah,
got any
so
thoughts on
I
where
I,
we
I
can
would give
go?
the Phillies a C grade. Like I said, like I'm kind of checked out on them. Like I mean, you guys all make good points. Like if you look at the trade deadline as a whole, like Luis Rise, I think he's like a good player, good fit. You know what I'm saying? Like Brooks Riley or whatever, like adding to the bullpen. But I really feel like Dave Dombrowski missed, opportunity to improve. And then I know Justin just talked about giving like Sanchi a stint, but look at Kyle Schwarber. Like I got the numbers
Yeah,
like since the All Star game, right? Since the All Star game, he's batting 175. He has one home run, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's in 18 games, right?
Mm.
So that's since like Kyle Schwarber is what our second, third best player on the team. Sometimes maybe first, like so it's like this team. I'm just starting to get to a point where it's like I don't know if they will ever win a championship, because I feel like there's been so many opportunities. Obviously, I don't have to, go back to history, the Diamondback series. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah, I
there's been
know.
so many times where we've had a chance, like it was there. And I'm just afraid that we missed our window. Lockout season probably coming next year, so that's going to be possibly a wasted season. Baseball might not even play or might not even start to like July or something. So
Yeah,
I just look at the overall situation with the Phillies, Bryce Harper and the front office. They're trying to put on this facade like, oh, we're happy, but deep down, I don't
he
think Bryce
knows.
Harper is happy. I
Yeah,
think Bryce Harper likes the Phillies organization, and I think obviously he likes the city of Philadelphia, but I don't think Bryce Harper is happy in his current situation. Alec Bohm is a crybaby. I mean, like this guy is a whiny. Like it's like there's no way he's still like I think he wants to be on the team, but there's no way that he's happy. Like he's getting criticized, he's being killed. You know what I'm saying? So I just feel like the Phillies organization right now is just like treading water, and I
yep,
feel like there's going to be a fall that's going to happen really soon. What are they like six? What are they 62 and 55? Eight
Yeah,
games
yeah,
2
out
games
of
up on a playoff spot, yeah.
Yep. So 8 games out of the NL East. Like when we did the rapid fire last time with Drew, I said I don't think the Phillies was going to win the NL East. So I just feel like I'm not saying that we're like a sinking ship. Like anything can happen. This is baseball. This team could get hot.
mm,
But I think Dave Dombrowski is kind of saying like the guys that's making money: Bryce Harper, Kyle Schwarber, Trey Turner, like. Those guys need to step up. And we've been saying that for the past 3 seasons. Like, those guys need to step up.
yeah,
So, like, I mean, Luis Ariz bringing him in here. I mean, obviously, like, he's going to get on base. He's not a power hitter, but he's going to, get on base. But it's like everyone else, like, nobody I can say, like, yeah, that guy, Brandon Marsh, he looked like Barry Bonds to start the season. And now it's like, he's came back down to earth. So it's like this team has a whole bunch of guys that is like hope. Like I hope he can do this, and then we can do this. But we all know in sports, if you have hope, you might as well just give it up.
yeah.
yep,
Well, it goes back to, once again, Dave Dombrowski, and I think John Middleton is the biggest one to blame the past few years, is because they keep going half in. They don't go all the way in. You know what I mean? They've had opportunity to go all in every year, and they choose not to. For some reason, John Middleton doesn't want to. I mean, I know they've spent money and they have spent money because they've extended Lazardo, extended Sanchez, extended Kyle Schwarber and what have you, which is great. And so if you're telling me you're going to throw money at those guys who are your best players, but yet that's all you're going to do, you cannot think that that's enough to get us over the line, to get us to a World Series. It's not, because it's shown the last 3 years. It hasn't been enough. You know what I mean? That's before you've extended these guys. So they once again have let us down big time. And I know they haven't got the Dodgers money, because the Dodgers are owned by a corporation of billionaires and what have you. But it just goes to show the Dodgers, they've gone out and got Scooble now, And I know he's been a little bit hurt this year, but he's back and what have you. And they've practically guaranteed themselves a third straight World Series, And if we get into a wild card spot and we've got to go up against the Chicago Cubs, I don't know if we beat the Chicago Cubs in our wild card spot. Like you said, anything happen in baseball, and yeah, it can, and who knows? But the way the Chicago Cubs acted at trade deadline day compared to us, they've brought in some decent players, as where we have only gone half in once again, and it's going to show in October, and it's going to hurt us again. And this team is old. It's going to be older again next year if there's no baseball when we come back. I don't even I don't know enough to know, but I'm wondering, during a lockout, can baseball players actively, can they train? Can they do workouts? Is it, or is it not allowed because they're on strike? You know what I mean? How does that sort of work?
They can do anything that's not related to like the team can't organize anything. Like, for example, if they want to get together as a team and work out, they can, but it can't be team organized.
Like a team sanctioned thing. But Bryce,
Yeah.
it's like Jalen does with receivers. Like Bryce Harper, if he wanted to, could get a bunch of Phillies players together and host a workout or something.
I was wondering how that worked, because when you're on strike over here, it's and anywhere, you go to the picket line and that but you can't do anything else, you can't, so you've got to be careful of what you do, because there's certain laws in place and things like that in there. So yeah, it's really bit deflating once again. We did okay, but we went half in again. So it's I don't know how that's gonna shake out. And yeah, it's
going back to the strike talk too. Something I didn't realize. I thought when the owners locked them out, there was no baseball at all. So when this lockout happens, we will still have minor league baseball. So everybody can go to the Bally Sports Live app and watch some minor league baseball. Maybe check out the Western Michigan Whitecaps, Brady Smith pitching. Maybe he gets moved up to the Erie, Pennsylvania AA team. Watch him pitch, because I've been all over Twitter reposting and everything. My nephew was part of the trade that sent Scooble to the Dodgers, and that was cool. I mean, I hated seeing Scooble go to the Dodgers as much as anybody, but seeing my nephew being traded for the best pitcher in baseball, that was cool.
Well, it goes to show Brady's value, doesn't it? It goes to show how high his value is, that he's going to be included in a trade package. It shows how good he's doing.
One thing about me, and this is just how I view sports. Obviously, Scooble going to the Dodgers is annoying, but I just don't care. I'm one of those guys where it's in sports, if the same team keeps winning, I'd rather that happen than another team that win that's not mine. Prime example, right? If we would have never beat the Chiefs, I would have rather the Chiefs just keep winning than to see Josh Allen beat the Chiefs. You know what I mean? I'd rather the Dodgers just keep winning than to see the Diamondbacks or something, the Cubs win a championship. I just rather, because it doesn't really affect me because they're already winning.
Yeah.
I don't want another team to have that over my team, so that's why I don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do think people around baseball were a little too worked up over the Dodgers being the ones to get Scooble. I get it. They have, endless, money, deep pockets and whatnot.
It was obvious,
but you look at teams like the Brewers, the Rays, they could have they have the minor league systems to make a trade like that. Now their argument is, well, if we do that and it doesn't work out, then we just gutted ourselves for the next 5 years because we don't have Dodger money to buy our way out of a problem. But it's at some point, you do have to decide, like, this is the team, like, let's go
Yeah.
all in, let's go for it. And I like when teams are willing to take that leap and do that.
Yeah.
Similar to
I
like
agree.
the Rams. Like, I mean, like, honestly, like, I know we'll talk about football later on, but if Aaron Donald plays football this year, like, you can make a debate that the Rams might be like one of the best teams like ever assembled.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be the Rams are the team this year. Obviously in the NFC, depending on how the Seahawks look after their Super Bowl, whether they have a Super Bowl hangover.
Mm-hmm.
But the Rams will be the team to beat in the NFC this year. You know what I mean? It could potentially be between us, the Eagles, and the Rams, and we've got to play the Rams in the regular season again as well. So it is going to be a scary thought if Aaron Donald comes out of retirement and he actually plays well. He doesn't get off to a slow start, or he's just like hitting on all cylinders.
70% of Aaron Donald is still like the 6th or 7th best defensive tackle in the league.
Scary thought, man. With bloody Myles Garrett like lining up on the other side, like, oh shit, yeah. that is gonna be scary. Oh my god! But there we are. We'll see. We get into it later. So anything else on the Phils? Any sort of positive things we can sort of like look towards going into this final stretch? Any positive stats, Drew? Do you have any like positive stats we could sort of like go off of?
Oh man, I honestly, I haven't. I to Justin's point, I had one negative stat written down that since Sanchi, had his scoreless streak snapped, he's had a 4.4 ERA. I think people, because he has 15 wins or whatnot, have overlooked that a bit. I mean, look, I think the best thing that I think the Phillies need to do is to try to just have a good stretch now to try to like stack some wins. I was looking at their schedule earlier. Like, they end the season, their final week is against the Brewers and the Rays, two of the top teams in the league.
Tough
ideally, maybe they're maybe they've already clinched, they're locked into their seed, but there's a good chance the Brewers could be fighting the Dodgers for home field or whatnot. So I think if you're the Phillies, I think you got to go on a run now just to try to build some cushion. They have 6 games against the Cardinals the next couple weeks, who are chasing them in the standings. I think those series are going to be key. They play 3 against the Diamondbacks out in Arizona. We know from the playoffs, unfortunately, all too well, they never play well out there. I might have just quoted Taylor Swift with all too well. I don't know. I'm just going off on a tangent now. I think if they could stack some wins over the next couple of weeks, I think they just need to build a little buffer where one, bad stretch can't knock them out of it.
Yeah, like I'm looking at it now. The September schedule is
a tough
rough.
schedule.
It's rough. You got Arizona, you got the Braves, you got the Astros, you got Atlanta again. We've got Washington, the Mets. You know what I mean? Because the division games, you know what it's like. It's always tough, no matter how bad the Mets are playing and how bad Washington are at the moment. And there's the Brewers and the Rays right at the end. That is as hard as it could possibly get for September. Yeah,
so
that is rough.
So one more thing to finish off the Phil's talk. Something that Jack touched on this week that I looked at. He said, if they make the playoffs, we know they're gonna start out on the road, 3-game series, whatever. I think Sanchez ERA on the road is in the 5s, Drew, something like that. And he said maybe have Wheeler's the number 1 guy, Luzardo is number 2, and start Sanchez 3. And he's got a strong point with that. If that's how it shakes out,
that's cool. I mean, Justin, I think you said it before too. I think Drew did too. But like, they got to make the postseason. Man. I'm not making no postseason. What they should do, none of that. They got to get through September, August before.
They've only got a 2-game lead on the Padres right now.
Yeah, I think
Right.
to Corey's point, you might like if you have to play through the whistle, if you have to play all the way through game 162 to just get in, you might not be able to set up you might not be able to set up your rotation fully. Like
Yeah,
there's a world where
Right.
you could have Nola or Painter pitch in
yeah,
early. So that's why I think building that buffer, stacking wins now is, super important.
yep,
Oh yeah,
I agree.
yeah. Gonna have to if you can get to a point, if they can somehow get hot now on this final stretch and get to a point where they can do, one or two bullpen games to obviously then make it so that rotation falls to Wheeler, Luzardo, Sanchez, and that'll be fantastic. Because it's a scary thought of Aaron Nola or Andrew Painter having to start like an early playoff game like that. It's not great. Obviously, I'd go with Nola over Painter, but yeah, it's tough. All right. So we'll end the Phils for a minute. Another big thing happened in Philly a few weeks ago. LeBron James, he's here. I don't know if he's in Philadelphia yet. I know he's going to be living in New York. I think there might have been one or two sightings of him somewhere. But he's here in Philly. He's going to be playing for the 76ers. He wants to end his career with the 76ers by winning another championship. It's a 2-year, $8 million deal. So, easy money. And what have you. It's nothing for Josh Harris and his cronies. So how are we feeling about LeBron? I respect what LeBron has done in his career, his skill, his talent, the records that he's broke. I respect all the flopping that he's done. He's one of the best floppers in the NBA. He's worse than a British soccer player because we are really bad for flopping. British soccer players, we are terrible for it. But LeBron James takes it to another level. So as the leader, as the VP of LeBronimus, Core, I want you to give us your insight on LeBron James as a a Lakers fan. You've had to watch LeBron James for the last 5 years. I know he won a championship for the Lakers in COVID. And he hasn't really helped the Lakers get that far again. Even with Luka Doncic come in. So explain to us sort of like the whole LeBron dynamic, the controversy that LeBron brings, with clutch and the
Mhm.
circus that he brings, you know what I mean? As to why, Spike
So,
Eskin is obviously kicking off about
mhm.
LeBron James. So give us your insights on LeBron. Go.
So the thing about LeBron James, like people say, like I'm a LeBron James hater. I mean, if that's how you feel. I feel like I'm more of a LeBron James truther. Like everything I say about him is the truth. Like it's not spewing hate. Like a hate would be like complain about like what he wears or like I don't do none of that. Like I just purely talk about him. Like LeBron James to me is a top 3 NBA player of all time. However you want to rank your guys, to me he's top 3. Like all-time leading scorer, all that, great
Mm,
passer, one of the best passers of all time. But the thing about LeBron, what he brings to your organization is like it's not just bringing the player, right? Like if you just got LeBron James, the player, you should be happy, right? But it's the circus that comes with it, the Rich Paul, right? The podcast every other day saying, talking about the games. Oh, like just me personally, obviously, I'm a Lakers fan. You know, there was times through the season last year where he's saying, well, Austin Reeves should like come off the bench. Austin Reeves should, he should want to get traded out of this team so we can, or like the Lakers should look to trade him, because like he has the most value, can bring in the most assets. Like it's like people say like, oh, that's not LeBron talking. It's his agent. But we all know agents represent you. So like when
mm,
LeBron is like negotiating at a table, Chris Paul is speaking in behalf of LeBron.
Yep,
So you can say all you want. Oh, that's not how he feels. Like LeBron came out and said that's Rich's opinion. It's not mine. But why would Rich be talking about the Lakers in the aspect of improving the team if it didn't have anything to do with you? And I just like don't like the passive aggressiveness. I don't like the aloofness. Like, oh, he doesn't know what's going on. Back when he played in Cleveland, after they won the championship, obviously the Warriors team got created. There was rumors that he wanted to trade. There were the Cavs was going to trade Kyrie Irving for Paul George because they said they needed more of a big wing that can defend guys like Klay Thompson, Paul, Kevin Durant. Well, then LeBron all of a sudden, oh, I knew nothing about this. Like it's like I just like don't like the whole of the I don't know type of thing or like it's annoying. And when they lose, it's never his fault. Like, oh, this person is terrible. Like Luka Doncic went to the finals a year before he got traded to Lakers, right? Was in
Mm.
the finals. Like I get it, they lost to the Celtics. But then he comes to the Lakers the year later. The Lakers haven't been out the first round since, 2, 3 years before that. And now Luka needs to defer to LeBron James. Luka needs to play off the ball. He needs to learn how to play this, do that. Like it's like Luka's 26 years old, but now he has to figure out how to learn how to play with LeBron. If this guy's the GOAT, shouldn't he be able to adjust with other people's play?
Yep.
And I
Exactly.
feel like with the Sixers, and I kind of respect what Jaylen Brown said. I'm sorry for being so long winded here. Like I kind of respect what Jaylen Brown said. Like on paper it looks good, but we're gonna have to figure it out. Like all of these guys are used to being like the
The
ball
guy.
handler on their team. Maxey, Joel
Yeah.
Embiid when he plays, he the ball sticks with him. Jaylen Brown, the ball sticks. So it's like they're gonna have to figure that out. And I know one thing is LeBron likes to dominate the basketball too. So
Yeah.
LeBron, his game has always been I'll create players, I'll dish, and you guys get shots. But it's like a lot of these guys aren't spot up shooters like what he's used to playing with. That's why the KCPs is coming in. The rumors of Kevin Love's coming in. Oh, it's good right now because it hasn't happened yet. But once games start being played, it's going to start saying, oh, we need to, VJ Escom is going to be the odd man out because he's obviously going to be the guy that can like
Mm.
get the most value if you were going to like trade him. He's cheap, so it's going to be, oh, we should look to move VJ for like 3-and-D guys that can spot up, shoot, and defend. And it's like,
Oh yeah, that's going to send me over the edge.
and
That
then
is, if I see another talented, rookie that we've drafted get drafted out of here because of his influence, that is going to drive me over the edge. And that's what I don't want is his thing taking over everything when we've got my other fear, a couple of other fears that I have, and then I'll let Drew and Justin come in on it, is that we possibly could have too many, like, I say, like, too many cooks in the kitchen now. You know what I mean? It's good to have a stacked superstar team, but when you got the likes of these big personalities, when you got Joel Embiid and you got LeBron James, you got Jaylen Brown, you got Tyrese Maxey, you've got too many mouths to feed. You know what I mean? And these guys are not even going to be playing. I mean, I don't know how many games they're even going to be able to play together. You know what I mean? And what are they going to look like when they're playing together? Are they going to be a well-oiled machine, or is it just going to be an absolute disaster? That's why I think this thing is either going to go really well or it's going to be a massive flop. So I don't know. You know what I mean? It really makes me feel uneasy, and I don't feel confident about LeBron James. Coming to the 76ers. So, Drew, just what are your sort of like thoughts on LeBron? Drew, do you want to lead off?
Yeah, for sure. Look, I love it. I've always admired that LeBron just had so much pressure on him at a young age. Kind of like Bryce, and lived up to the hype there. To me, it reminds me a lot of like when Tom Brady went to the Bucks. Like sometimes if the brand wins, you sign up for the brand. You're willing to take, some of like the annoyingness, some of the, just like him being him, if it, gets you where you want to go. I mean, me, I gravitate towards stats. I gravitate towards patterns, I think aside from his first stint with the Cavs, when obviously, initially they just had nothing, right? Like every other team he's been with, by year 2, they've won a championship. So I think, I'm willing to bet on that. My stance honestly is like, if it doesn't work, then like, what's the worst that happens? Like, what were the Sixers going to do anyway? Like, they go back to kind of being like the semi dysfunctional, like good but not great, like mess team that they were. Like, I see a lot more reward than risk. And to the point about Edgecombe being traded potentially if LeBron just tries to force something like that. I don't remember all of like the Heat when he was with the Heat, like all of like the dealings there, like all the personnel moves with like Pat Riley and all. But I would think that just based on what he's accomplished, that LeBron respects Bob Myers to an extent where where there'd be kind of some if there's some healthy pushback from Bob Myers of like, hey, like we're not doing this. You would think he would respect someone that accomplished from that standpoint. So I'm really excited to see it. I'll go back to it. Reminds me of hopefully it's our Tom Brady coming to Tampa and getting them over the top.
Yeah, I mean, if it don't get me wrong, like I want the Sixers to win an NBA title. I haven't seen it in my lifetime, and a lot of Sixers fans haven't seen it in their lifetime, and I haven't seen it for a long time. It's been over 40 years. So, if he brings a title, and if, like I've said before, if LeBron is one of those main reasons because of his play and his contributions to the team, and I will eat my hat and I will say, thank you, LeBron, for coming at the right time to the Sixers and for doing the right thing and knuckling down and playing and not podcasting and all the other crap that you bring. I don't want to see any of that. If he's true and this is his last hurrah, this is his final shot, and he wants to spend the next 2 years bringing the title to Philly, then just get on the court, play, learn how to play with Embiid, and let Maxey drive the ship, let Jaylen Brown drive the ship, and you come in when you need to. You know what I mean? That's the LeBron I want to see is take that leadership role, take that mentorship role. You're in the last days of your career. If you were, help the young guys, make this team something that you can like leave with in 2 years and be like, yeah, I did. You know what I mean? But I don't think that's the LeBron James would go in to see. So yeah,
One
just
thing
go on,
just
Drew.
to add to that, and then I'll let Justin go into that. To that point, look, I know obviously he has his brand. He cares about individual accomplishments and all. I do think it would mean something to him to win here, to help a team
I hope
over the
so.
hump
Yeah.
who hasn't been there in close to 50 years. I do think he cares about kind of that type of legacy.
Oh, well, I hope so. Yeah, it's just got it's just got all tied together now, isn't it? Yeah, just
So the thing that I go back to, like with Corey, what he said was how LeBron always likes to try to get his guys in with him. And you go back to a podcast I think last week that Rich Paul had with Max Kellerman, and Rich Paul didn't bring it up, but Max Kellerman did something about wanting to trade Joel Embiid. So I mean, it's already started. Max Kellerman didn't come up with that shit on his own, in my opinion. I think Rich Paul's like, hey, we need to bring this up, but you bring it up so it doesn't look so obvious, and then I'm going to push back on it a little bit. That's Spike hit the nail on the head this week. It's already starting, and
yeah.
if the Sixers win a title, I'll be tickled to death for every Sixers fan in Philadelphia. I will. I'm not a basketball guy. I'm an admitted not basketball guy anymore. I don't care for it anymore. I used to love it when I was a kid. But I grew up during Jordan, Magic, Bird. I'm a lot
Mm.
older than you guys. So the game just changed too much for me. There's too much of this load management stuff and too much team jumping. It seems like I don't know. I don't like the game anymore, and nothing against those that do. I mean, yeah, that's awesome if you can follow it. But
Right.
in the thoughts that it's going to help Sixer fans like that aren't as big Eagle fans. Maybe you know what I'm saying. There's people out there that are just diehard basketball. They like the Eagles. They support the Eagles, but they live and die with basketball like we live and die with the Eagles. You know what I'm saying? And I'll be happy as hell for those people if the Sixers do win. I'm just not a LeBron fan. I'm not.
Right. And I just want to say, like, just like I don't so like when it comes to LeBron, like I don't mind the whole podcast thing. Like I don't mind like the Mind the Game podcast. Like I've listened to that, or like the Shop, like because that's more like like they'll have like a guest on there and they'll talk about their life. Like Cooper DeJean and Reed Blankenship. Like I don't have an issue with that. My issue comes from when like Rich Paul does the podcast and he's speaking on current issues and
Yep.
situations with the team, right? Like
Mm.
if you're LeBron and you have uh Jaylen Brown on your podcast and you guys talk about, oh, this type of the game and like, oh, when you were with the Celtics or you grew up, you went to Cal, all like I don't mind that. It's just like when you're talking about current situations that everyone knows is going on and you being the agent representing this person. So now it's like you can't say that this isn't coming. Like kind of like what Justin just brought up, the whole would you trade Anthony Davis or Joel Embiid for Anthony Davis, right? It's always like we know that rumor was out there. Like that
Mm,
was talked about. Like they wanted the Warriors to trade Jimmy Butler for Anthony Davis to try to lure him to the Golden State. Like
yeah.
like, and then it's like when that happens, oh, I have no idea where that came from or whatever. You know what I mean? Like so, it's like I've like obviously like I've um like my like when I went to school, whatever, it was like for like communications, and everyone knows like when every story there's like some truth behind the story. Like, even like these Eagle stories, there might not be like 100% truth, but there's been something to where this comment was made that came from somewhere. Like no one just pulls anything like out of their ass. Like
Mm,
Yep.
like Landon Dickerson possibly retiring, right?
yeah.
There was a conversation that initiated that report from somewhere
Yeah.
to where
Yeah.
that
That
there was a
does.
possibility that Landon had that conversation with someone and that information has came around.
Mm,
Landon might not have wanted that information to be public, so that's why he's like, I don't know where that came from. I don't know, like so like there's always that. Like there's no one just really. I mean, if you do that, like that's crazy as hell. But like, I don't think in media people just pull stories out of their ass and be like, "Oh, that's
I
not true."
agree.
Like.
yeah. Definitely. All right. So we'll see how it all works out. Um, so on to the Eagles, on to the Birds. The season is fast approaching. We had the Hall of Fame game the other night, which kicks things off. Then you have preseason. So the Eagles are currently in training camp. Jalen Hurts is adapting to what is it? His sixth or seventh new offense in a row now, something like that. Um, he's Sean Mannion has come over from the Green Bay Packers, is a promising young offensive mind. From all early reports, Sean Mannion is bringing a big change to the offense, a lot of under center, play action, a lot of exciting things being trickled into the offense, which Jalen seems to be liking at the moment. If you follow Elliott's training camp stats and Aravu, I used to be a big fan of his training camp stats, but I'm not so much anymore. But I do still keep track of them, and I follow the other beat writers, and there's a lot of positive, I would say, more than negative coming out of training camp so far. Even the vibes in training camp are much better now without AJ Brown. If you look over at the Patriots training camp, AJ Brown seems to be causing a lot of issues over there, which is fun. And I can't wait for the joint practice soon because you're not going to see AJ Brown nowhere near it. That guy, talk about phantom injuries. That guy now he sprained his thumb or something the other day in practice or something. You watch that.
Quinyon Mitchell flew, sit out for a couple days.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, like I don't know if you guys seen like I guess like him and like Christian Gonzalez has already had like some like back and forth
Yeah,
altercations.
yeah,
Like some
yeah,
physical altercations that they've had to be separated.
yeah. So you ain't going to see AJ Brown nowhere near that Eagles joint practice. He's going to be on the sidelines, and it's going to be some excuse. So there we go. So Drew, start us off with from what you've read and what you've heard, and how you think Jalen is adapting to this new offensive scheme so far.
Yeah, I think a couple of things that stand out to me. One thing I always try to look for, especially after 2023, when we know their relationship was rocky, is I always kind of going into a season try to ask myself, like, are Jalen and Nick good? Are they on the same page? And it seemed to me like I know in a couple, and obviously this is team produced stuff, but in a team meeting, you had Nick referencing, quoting Jalen about something. You had Jalen, proactively bringing up, Nick, in I think his opening press conference. So it seemed to me like two of them are in a good place, which I think is awesome and really
Yeah,
reassuring. I like what I've heard about Sean Mannion. I think there's going to be a little part of me that's naturally skeptical until I see it. But the big thing that stands out to me is I got the sense that he's a guy who like has the stomach for this job, who can handle criticism. I know we heard the reports last year, I think from like Richard Sherman, like Ryan Fitzpatrick, that just the pressure of the job behind the scenes, might have gotten to Kevin Patullo a little bit. Mannion strikes me as a guy where, if he has a bad game, if things are going rough, he's like, I trust my process, I believe in what we're doing, and is, going to be able to kind of, just psychologically grind through that. So I think it seems to me like they're having overall solid camp. The best way I think I can sum it up succinctly is they feel like a team that's operating like they have, a quarterback and coach who've been together for 6 years, which they do. So they should be operating that way. It seems like, a lot is, a lot more, good vibes than bad. I think the biggest thing to me, and I know he was back at practice yesterday, is, if you told me right now, like Lane Johnson's going to play, 17 and hopefully with the Super Bowl, 20 or 21 games, then I feel great. If you told me Lane's only going to play, what was it last year, 8 or 9
8 or
games,
9
then I
games.
don't
Yeah.
feel as good. I that to me is kind of been, I guess my biggest, thing that I'll just continue to worry about as we go into the season. But I think overall they're having, a good start to camp.
Yeah, O-line has to be healthy this year. That's my biggest thing is if we can get the O-line healthy, we get Landon Dickerson healthy, Lane, Cam Jurgens, Jordan Mailata has been pretty consistent with his health. If we can get those guys healthy and strong and fighting fit, then everything else should flow quite naturally. I think that was one of the biggest struggles last year, obviously with everything else floating around with the play calling and AJ Brown and what have you. Running the ball was very difficult last year. It's them staying healthy and being as dominant, because I think they were so tired and run down from the previous year, when the run to the Super Bowl where they had to run the ball. I think that was a big key factor last year. So just I'll go with you next, and then Corey, how are you feeling about the Birds going into currently in training camp, going into the preseason?
So I'm going to touch on the defense. We got a Jalen Carter extension, something we were questioning a few pods ago. Would we do it? Would they do
Yeah,
it? And all that. Hey, they did it. They signed him. He's the highest paid defensive tackle in history now. I think that could be a good thing for us. He's not going to go through the season worrying about is he going to get a deal from the Eagles? Can he keep his head on straight and play good and not have silly mistakes like he did with the spitting incident against Dak Prescott last year, stuff like that.
yeah.
The secondary, from everything we're hearing, looks great. From Tariq Woolen to Coop to Q, Michael Carter playing some safety, Drew McCougar. We've had some good reports about how well he's looked. Uh, Jihad Campbell's not played or done anything during camp much, and it's been Jeremiah Trotter Jr. And everybody that has seen or talked about Trot Jr. has had nothing but glowing reviews about that. And
Yeah,
that's going to be big, because I think this is probably, if Jihad Campbell, when he gets healthy this year and plays well and everything, this could be the last year for Zach Bond on this team. And then
yeah.
next year, Jihad could be in Zach's position, and Trot Jr. could be in the other
Rod Jr.
position, just like shit.
N'Kobe
What's
Dean,
he?
is it?
Yeah, N'Kobe. I kept wanting to say Nolan, but yeah, like N'Kobe Dean was in. Everybody's talking about how well Trot Jr.'s been, how well he's played, during camp, and that's a good thing, man. We've also heard some good things about AJ Epinesa, the guy that we signed as a free agent, from the Bills. So and Elliot keeps talking about how he's worried about the offense. He's worried. You cannot worry about the offense. This is a new offense. This is a new thing they're doing. They're
Yeah,
going from under center. They're throwing it over the middle. This defense has been together for how many years? They've had the same
3.
coordinator. This is the third year they've had Vic in place, and it was the same type of defense before that with Gannon and stuff. Those
And
guys
most of the
are
guys, and most of the there's not a lot of change. There's just
yes,
some odd knit. Like most of these guys are the
yes.
same guys that's been in there for
yeah,
3 years
It's
too.
the same group of guys playing under the same system, and it's been consistent for 3 years. But like I said, you go back to Gannon and the guy that took Gannon's place. after he left.
Desai.
So I mean, Desai, the defense is going to have a leg up. Elliott kills me where the offense.
But
It's going to
that's
be
his
a learning
job.
process. Yeah, but it's going to be a learning process, man. It's so infuriating hearing him just dog the shit out of the offense. What did you expect? Did you come out to expect them to look like the friggin' greatest show on turf? No, it's not going to happen. But yeah, this defense is going to be tough. In the first few
So
weeks, if the offense is struggling, I think the defense will be carrying the weight.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I agree. My worry is like I don't want to see the Eagles. I know it's a new offense again, which is obviously is frustrating for Jalen every year, but he does seem to make it work down the stretch. But it's just that initial slow start that we seem to have every year because it's always a new offense. So if we got in, we'll have that 3 or 4
but
game thing possibly. But our first like 5, 6 games of the schedule are really tough. They're going to be challenging games. Some easier than others, but they're going to be challenging games. So we can't really afford this year to get off to that type of slow start. Obviously, there'll be mistakes, there'll be errors. That's a given. But we don't want to have that pressure on the defense so soon again. You know what I mean? So what's your thoughts on everything, Cole?
So I kind of agree with what the three of you said. So I mean, obviously, I do have like there's some concerns that I do have, obviously, and I'll speak on those towards the end. But like to talk about what Justin said, like Elliott, like I get where he's coming from sometimes. Like I don't think Elliott's issue is with the offense. I think his issue is like with the playmakers. And like I think too, like if you look at like a guy like Makai Lemon, like obviously we drafted him, so there's going to be a lot of pressure on him. First round pick, he's going to be looked at as like the replacement for AJ Brown. But like me personally, I feel like Makai Lemon, like he's been dealing with these hamstring. Like I feel like he should play in the preseason. Like I feel like we haven't really heard a lot of like Makai Lemon. Like we've heard of Dontavius Wicks. Obviously, he's a pro. Devontae Smith missing games like that. Like we've seen Devontae Smith dominate in a Super Bowl. So
Yes.
that's not. But like a guy like Makai Lemon, who you were, the 20th pick in the draft, you were here to be like a vocal, a huge part of the offense, and like we've barely seen you because you've been dealing with hamstrings. Like I said, I feel like he should play at least 2 of the preseason games.
Yeah.
If he's going to be like out there as like the main guy.
Do you think he will play though because of the
I mean, I would
hamstrings now?
hope, but the thing is, like, if he's
Yeah,
dealing with injuries, I know how the Eagles like to, they like
yeah,
to hold injuries so close to the vest. So, like, I would guess, like, he's probably not going to play next Saturday, in that game. Maybe he'll play versus the Patriots, depending on when he'll probably play
yeah.
in the joint practices, but, we'll see. But then, like, I also, like, I know this is a concern that nobody brings up, like, Cam Jurgens is kind of a concern for me. Like, not so much Landon
I
Dickerson,
agree.
because, like, Landon Dickerson is more of, like, it was his knees and his legs. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get all that. He's had a lot of surgeries. But, like, dealing with the back, like, I mean, like, we've all probably had back injuries, not to this extent. But, I mean, like, we know. And then he missed, he sidelined a little bit yesterday dealing with the back.
Yeah,
So
I
we
did
don't know
see
how
that.
long.
Yeah,
We don't know how long that will be. So, like, I'm looking at the backup offensive line, like, hey, I mean, Drew Kendall, Willie Lampkin, what's the guy's name? Is it not Josh Myers, but Jake Majors? I don't know. Like if Cam has to miss games, like do we feel comfortable with one of those guys coming in? Like,
I
and then
know.
like just to close it out, like every year I think I saw one of the beat writers. I think it actually might have been Jimmy Kempski that posted this. Like Howie has made 15 trades in the month of August over the
Ooh.
past like his time as like I don't know 5 or like however long he's been the GM. So 15 trades in the month of August. So uh we could see a trade this month. I don't know what position or what for, but
Yeah.
we'll see.
Do you think it's Max
It,
Crosby? Because I mean, you got that incident that happened the other day with Max Crosby and Kirk Cousins, haven't you? Where they had some sort of like scrap or something in the Raiders training. So it's like,
so
do you think Max Crosby would be too much for? Do you think that's too much for the
so
Eagles?
I
Like, do they
would
want that level of intensity
me
in
personally as
training
a
camp?
fan, I would trade for Max Crosby. But like
Mm,
obviously like Howie being the GM, like are you gonna have what $300 million tied up into your defensive
mm.
line, like
But the other
so
problem is that Jalen Hunt and Nolan Smith, that's still not enough or edge wise. You know what I mean?
Right.
Nolan Smith was in that incident with where where he was pulled over
Mhm.
for the driving and stuff. He's back in training camp, but
Right.
and
I
Paddy
think Grenard. I
Jalis
mean,
Hunt
like
is
we don't
doing
know when
well.
Grenard will be back, but I
Yeah.
mean, like I mean,
Yeah,
he's supposed
he's
to be.
hurt at the moment, so he could
Yeah.
miss if they have to put him on the pup list. He has to miss the first 4 games of the season. So
Right.
it's like that is a major concern. Is that we still very thin at edge. It doesn't look like they're gonna bring Brandon Graham back. You know what I mean? I know Brandon's old now and Ravi, so it doesn't look like he's come back. So we're still very thin at edge. So how he's gonna have to try and possibly do something in August. So I hope that lives up. I hope he lives up to that sort of. I don't say expectation, but if there's something that he can do, because we are still thin at edge. So
Well, going back to what Corey just said, talking about how many trades Howie's made in the month of August. When he was on with Kay Adams, I think it was Wednesday. Our girl Kay. Hey
Hey,
Herb's
Kay,
Kate.
girl, that's Herb's
come,
girl.
come on anytime, Kay. Be more than happy to have you. But yeah, she even brought it up and how she brought up how many trades he's made in training camp and preseason and stuff like that. So I mean, it is a thing that Howie likes to get guys in that he sees what he's got, try to fill a hole here. Maybe it's an impact guy, maybe it's a bench guy, but Howie is a wheeler and dealer in the preseason. Yeah.
One guy that I would love for the Eagles to trade for, that I know that they obviously can't do it because it's an in division trade, but I would love for them to trade for Kayvon Thibodeau. Like I've
Yeah.
always been kind of like a fan of his. And then obviously like they have like, the endless amount of edges up there in the Giants, but like last year when there was like the rumors that Goddard could be traded, like I always thought like, oh, we could do like a Goddard Thibodeau kind of swap, but I think that's a pipe dream now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably.
Quick real-time update. I just checked out Twitter real quick. According to Elliot, Dave Zangaro, a couple other beat writers, Cam Jurgens is back practicing today. So
Okay.
that's and
Awesome.
for
Ooh, that's
context
good.
for everyone, we're recording Saturday morning, so that's good. One thing that I was going to add to Corey's point, and then I'll let you jump back in, Justin. So I was excited about the Mekhi Lemon pick, but I'm definitely getting a little nervous there, just in
Yeah.
the realm of like, if you're going to be like guy who Sean Mannion is like putting in motion and trying to like scheme open and stuff, I feel like reps are real important there. I mean, you guys know me. I love Nick. One thing that I think has plagued the Eagles at times during the Nick Sirianni era, especially early, right, is like pre-snap penalties. So you got to have that timing down. You got to have that alignment down. You can't be going backwards on drives. You can't be starting drives first and 15 because that's a formula, for 3 and out, like right off the bat. So he in some way needs to be, just kind of getting that stuff down.
Yeah.
Right.
Also, going back to the offensive line, we don't know what Lane was dealing with this week where he had to miss, like, what was it, 4 excused absences from practice and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's nothing big. Hopefully he's got it straightened out, But going back to Mekhi, right now, everybody's just raving about Darius Cooper. Now, I know, was he undrafted or like a 7th round pick?
Yeah.
So if
Tarleton
Tarleton
State.
State.
Yeah, Tarleton State. So if Mekhi misses time, that's going to be time that Darius Cooper's getting, and everybody's raving. Not like I said, I know it's just, practice. And, we've seen a lot of practice guys, that we've raved about, but when it came time for the metal to meet the meat, they didn't show out. But, a lot of people are hyping Darius Cooper, and that's a slot, that he would be filling for Mekhi Lemon.
Listen. This ain't the defense. Mekhi Lemon is going to play. Howie Roseman.
Yeah.
This ain't Vic Fangio. Now, this ain't.
I'm just saying, like, if Mekhi's injured and those hammies keep giving him trouble all year long,
That's
and
the
if it's
issue is his bloody hamstring injury, because it's like his second hamstring issue already. Like I think it was either just as training camp started or it was after the OTAs or something. He had some sort of he had an hamstring issue, so they didn't see him at all. And now it's like again, and like Drew said, if he's going to be the type of player who's going to be in motion and a lot of quick running around and stuff, you're going to need those hamstrings to hold up. Like, so there's going to be a lot of quick bursts, and it is going to, that is a concern.
What's crazy about Mekhi Lemon is actually like a type of player that the Eagles have like. I've wanted them to have for like a while. Like obviously, like we thought Jalen Reagor, and I know people hate that name, was going to be this type. Like the Eagles have never really had that type of player that can like You can line him up, across the middle of the field, get yards after the catch. AJ Brown kind of was that in his first couple years, but obviously he
Mm.
got older. But I'm like, I was like excited about. Obviously, like McCollum is not like a 6'3" guy or whatever. He's not like a speed guy. He's more of like a get the ball, 5-10 yards, take it 30 or 40. Like,
Yeah.
like that's so I think we've missed that kind of player in our offense for a while. So I really hope that he can get healthy. And, I mean, last year
He
he was the
from his
Biletnikoff winner. Like, I
yeah
mean,
from
best
his
receiver in the country.
from his highlights and clips that I've watched of him, he even like when he goes for contested balls, he's a very physical, aggressive guy going for the catch, so he looks very strong, even though he's small. And like you said, he's not going to be that downfield outburst, receiver. But when he gets the ball, he can make the run after the catch. He's physical, he's strong, he can win the ball. So there's a lot of different things they can do with Mackay Lemon. They just got to try find a way to keep those hamstrings healthy, because
Yeah.
we going him and Devontae, and obviously Wicks and Cooper. Then those are the guys, this year that Jalen's got to spread the ball to, along with Dallas Goddard. You know what I mean, and Saquon. So it's not going to be a one target guy this year. With AJ Brown wants the ball, and then it's Devontae. Jalen's going to be spreading that ball around. So
Right.
all these guys got to be healthy. The discipline with the offensive line this year, the penalties, that has got to go. Like, there's no excuses left for that. And Jordan Mailata last year, he was one of the worst for it. You know what I mean? His penalties he gave away last year, it was every game, more or less. You know what I mean? It was multiple times. So the offensive line, if they're healthy this year, they've got to get that pre-snap thing. That's got to go. Like that was a killer last year as well. That killed drives constantly throughout the season.
Right.
Yep. So
Yeah.
do we have rapid fire from Drew today?
Yes,
Is that
Russ,
right?
you
Close out with the rapid
anything for us,
fire
Drew?
and the Justin question of the day.
Yeah, let's we can do rapid fire. So shout out to and if you're listening, feel free to play along with us. Drop a comment what your answers are here. So the idea is just like one word answers. We got 9 questions. So shout out to Mackay and
Right.
Nick Foles. So guys in whatever order.
Adam, Justin, me. Is that the
Adam,
order?
yeah, we'll go Adam, Justin, you, and then I'll close it out and go to the next question. All right. Other than the Dodgers, which National League team scares you the most?
Well, I'd say after the trade the trade deadline day they had. I mean, I think the Cubs. I think the Cubs I think if they get hot in the playoffs at the right moment and they whiz past us in the wild card series, I think they're one to look out for.
I was going to say Cubs, but I'll differ a little bit, and I'm going to say the Brewers.
Mm.
I'll differ again. I'll go Tampa Bay.
I got the Cubs.
NL team.
Oh, okay. Well, the Brewers. Sorry. I was going to the Brewers then.
I like the Rays answer after the Utley ceremony last night. Shout out to the 08. Shout out to the 08 Phils. All right. We're gonna do a couple over unders. One playoff game. Number of playoff games the Phillies will win. Over under 1.5.
I mean,
Corey rubbing his head like, oh
yeah,
Lord.
I think Corey's answered for all of us. For under.
Are we unders across the board here?
Under, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Phillies have not had someone lead the MLB in home runs since Ryan Howard in 2006. Kyle Schwarber currently trails Yordan Alvarez by 2. Will he do it this year?
No, he won't. No.
I'll say yes.
Right, I'm a no on this one. Question 4. Luis Ariz has only struck out 22 times all season. Over under 10.5 more strikeouts in the regular season this year.
I'm gonna go over. Yeah, I think he'll strike out a bit more with the Phils.
I think he had his first last night with the Phils in 4th game, so I'm going to go under.
I'm gonna go over just because that always happens with us. It's always
Yeah, we curse
bad.
players when it
I
comes
had
to
to
us.
edit
We
the
just
question
do.
last night after he struck out once. I got the under here. All right, we're gonna do a couple Eagles ones to close it out. Which player will have more receiving yards in 2026, AJ or Devontae?
Oh, Devontae Smith by a country mile. There's Drake May is not, AJ Brown is not gonna. Nah, don't even. Yeah, no chance.
I'm going Devontae. Devontae would have killed last year if AJ wouldn't have started crying like a 5-year-old that shit his
Yeah,
pants on the
yeah,
playground.
yeah.
Devontae was getting ready to eat last year, guys. I'm going Devontae.
Yeah, Devontae.
All right, well, we're unanimous across the board here. I can't go against my guy Devontae. Who will have more sacks in 2026, Jonathan Grenard or Jalen Phillips with the Panthers?
Oh, I mean, I don't want to judge it too much at the moment because obviously he's hurt. But I'll stick with Jonathan Grenard. Jalen Phillips was good for like what 2.5 games for us last season, and then he just sort of like went cold, and didn't stick around. So yeah, I'll say Grenard.
I'll be a homer and say Grenard.
I'll say Phillips.
I was always a Phillips
Ooh,
guy, so I got Phillips here too.
Well, I just think because, like, I mean, I know people hate him, but his track record, like, really does show when defensive lineman misses training camp, it has affected them in the
Yeah.
past. Like
Yeah.
that has been a
okay,
fact.
okay.
Couple ones to close it. Jalen Carter contract extension. Thumbs up, thumbs down, some thumbs sideways.
Thumb sideways. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a
Yeah.
sideways too.
For me,
All right.
for me, only quick. Sorry, Joe, only quick because of obviously all is for him to succeed. Now it's not his talent level. He is a monster. He's fantastic defensive player. It's the on-field antics, and that has got to stop. But I think they have curbed it because he's lost a little bit of weight. He's got some muscle. He was staying late after practice the day after he got his extension. So I think this is gonna take Jalen Carter to the next level. So, but still, he needs to show it on the field now this year.
Real quick, I know it's rapid fire, but real quick
Okay.
with Jalen Carter, I'll say this: like, the Ndamukong Suh was a problem on the field too, and
Yeah.
it didn't stop him from dominating in games. Like
Yeah.
like he
Yeah,
spit
had
on
a
people,
really good
stepped
career.
on people.
Yeah.
I'm surprised he didn't bite anyone.
All right, we got a yes or no, kind of related to that actually. Will Moro Ojamo be an Eagle beyond this season? Yes or no?
Yes.
No.
No.
I'm a no. I hope I'm wrong. I hope Adam's right
I
on
hope. Yeah,
on
I
this
hope
one.
Adam's right too.
I just think they'll need the, and unless a crazy trade happens where how he packages him up for something, to get Max Crosby
But maybe
or
Ty Robinson can actually step the hell up.
That'd be
yeah,
nice.
he definitely does have to step up this year, 100%. So yeah, unless something like that happens, or they were able to like Vita Vea, they managed to get Vita Vea in here somehow. I don't know, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see with the Jomo.
Last one here, and we can expand. You can expand a little bit on this one. And Adam, I think I probably know your answer, but final one here. Other than Week 1, which Eagles game are you most excited for this season?
Oh, well, obviously it's the Jags game, and going into that, a bit of a shameless plug now. I don't know, you guys probably can't see because of like the angle on my iPad and stuff that I'm doing the pod, but I've got a T-shirt printed of the pod of us.
Oh, that's awesome! That is amazing. I love that.
And I'm gonna be when I go to London the day before the game and I go to Pass Young Avenue, I'm going to be shamelessly plugging our podcast because there's going to be loads of Philly fans everywhere. So I'm going to be shamelessly plugging the pod and be like, yeah,
Amazing.
we are the Philly. That's the caller of the year, Justin from Tennessee. And he's going to be the caller of the year again because Herb is going to drop the ball when it comes to Eagles season. We got the man, Corey in Columbus, leading the charge for LeBronimus and the Jalen Hurts. And then we got the stat king in Drew from Westchester. So we are the Not From Philly podcast. So yeah, I'm going to be shamelessly plugging it. So it's the Jags game for me.
Ain't no shame in the game. Right now, I'm going to say the Titans game because that's probably going to be the game I get to go to this year.
Oh, nice, nice.
For me, I'm gonna say the Monday night game against the Bears because we owed him a taxidermy on the wall. I need
Yeah,
revenge.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
is
they
it?
took Devin Caney. And they
They
took
took
Devin Caney.
Devon.
Shout
Yeah,
out, Dev.
Shout out to Dev.
Keep
Yeah, there's a score to settle there
yeah, keep
from
working, hon. Keep working.
from last
yeah.
year. Yeah,
They
Devin.
need to lay off her. Like I mean, like what's she meant to do? You know what I mean? If WIP are gonna do that, do it dirty like
Right?
that,
Was she
then
supposed to not make money?
yeah,
that
Yeah,
like
exactly.
that stuff is, I mean, that stuff is ridiculous on Twitter. Like that stuff is people who just do not understand, who just have like zero, and I know I'm probably getting like my voices, that's people who just have like zero like media literacy or just like
Yeah,
understanding
Or just
of how the
life in
business
general.
works.
Like life in
exactly.
general. Like it's her job. Like it's not like it's
Yes.
like
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna say the Seahawks just because we never beat them. I think that'd be a
Yeah.
really like nice notch for Jalen, for Nick, for Sean Mannion if the offense looks
yeah,
good to cold
definitely.
December game to take down the Seahawks, and that concludes edition 2 of Rapid Fire.
I got one. I'm gonna throw
Nice.
one in for you guys.
Let's
I'm gonna throw
go.
one in for you guys. This is the last one. So I think I think we did this last time, but Adam wasn't on it. And I'm gonna add this, re-add it. And outside of Devontae Smith, who will be the second leading receiver in receiving yards?
Dallas got it. I think. I
Uh,
think he's.
I'm
I think it's
I'm
Dallas.
I'm going to go Wicks because I'm not sure about Lemon's hamstrings. If it weren't for Lemon's hamstrings, I'd go Mackay. But right now, I'll say Wicks.
Mm,
Yeah, if we're going players across the board, I'll say Goddard, but I did like Wicks with the Packers in Green Bay, so I'm excited to
Right.
hear that he's having a good camp.
yeah, he is having a good
Yeah.
camp. In fairness.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So now it's time for Justin's top 4. So the question this week, I know it may be a little different for Adam. We're going to see because we got a great answer on the candy with the Galaxy Bar. So favorite fast food like thing that you go to, like your number one thing. We're going to go down to Corey. We're going to go over to Drew, up to Adam, and I'll finish it off. And y'all may not be fast food guys, but like
Hey,
if you are eating fast food, that one place that you get, it ain't great for you and all that shit, but it just hits the spot, man. So
Mm,
like I
we
said, Corey, Drew, then Adam.
so we're all from like obviously different parts of the country, so like we might not even know what some of this stuff is. But
Yeah,
listen, I don't know if you guys have ever had this place, but it's called Culver's. They
yeah,
are the best fast
yeah.
food restaurant in America. I don't care what nobody says. I will
It's
argue
good.
that burger is amazing, like great
Yep,
service, everything. I'll go Culver's.
yep.
Fun fact about Culver's, I am pretty sure I had it the day after Super Bowl 52. There was one across from my hotel in Minneapolis, and I just remember obviously being like
That's awesome.
sleep deprived on cloud 9, and I probably did not take any note of the food because I was just on another planet. But I
Yeah.
recall it. I recall it being solid. I'll give something. I loved a good as a kid Burger King, just like some chicken nuggets and fries. Can never go wrong there.
yeah. That's good for me. I mean, you guys have this in America as well. There's all over the world, but we did have a few of them in the city where I live in Swansea. But now they've only got them in like a little bit further afield in Wales and Rabbit is Papa John's pizza.
Yeah.
That I
Yeah.
love Papa John's pizza. I
Oh
could
yeah, I
eat
just
that.
had that a couple days ago.
Oh man, it's where I don't have it a lot. Like I used to get it, regularly and stuff like that. But now I can only get it if I go to like certain cities that are quite far
Yeah.
away and stuff. So when I do have it, it's like it's a luxury now because I friggin' miss it, and it's just like the best pizza. I love Papa John's.
So I am going to go something I know none of you guys have ever heard because they're only in East Tennessee, and that's Pal's Sudden Service. It's a drive-through type thing. You drive around,
Okay.
you give them your order, you whop around, you pay them, they give you your food. They've got some of the best fast food burgers and fries. You look at the menu, fries ain't French fries, they're Frenchy fries, and they put some kind of seasoning on them. They're great. You order a burger, you get like a little pal, a big pal with cheese, whatever. And then to top it off, to wash it all down, I don't get a peach tea, boys. It's a peachy tea. And that stuff, man, I'm telling you what, it is phenomenal. Get a big pal Frenchy fries with a peachy tea. Oh, buddy, you'll slap your teeth out just trying to get it down, son. It's good.
Mhm. So this is like obviously like an honorable mention. I would have to go number two. And you guys, I know you guys have never had this place because it's only like in Ohio. But there's this place called Swenson's. It's just like a drive-through place. You just drive up, and everything is
Yep.
just, and they bring the food out of you. So there's a funny video of like Jameis Winston when he played for the Browns, where he ate there. I have to send it to you guys. Like it's like one of the best. Like the way he acted over eating the food, it is that good. Like
He is.
Good
He's
deal.
really funny, Jameis Winston. He's going to be like like a pundit soon because I think his football
Yeah.
career is going to go much longer. But he's so entertaining and he knows it. He does, he knows his stuff. He just seems like a natural at it. So he's definitely going to be a very popular pundit. I think soon.
Yep.
I got one final plug if we're about to close out here. So every
Plug
for
away.
anyone who's followed me, I'm a writer at heart. Every year I write a big Eagles season preview. It's loaded with actual information. It's loaded with stats. We also try to touch into kind of, I don't like to put a label on it, but it's a little like fan fiction-y, touch on a lot of like emotional stuff. If you like the Eagles but have checked out this offseason, if you admittedly don't know a lot about the Eagles, but you just like football, just like reading stuff, it's really unique. You're not gonna, I think the people who cover the team do an awesome job. Something like this, you're not gonna read anywhere else. I'm gonna publish it this Thursday. Obviously, appreciate anyone who reads. I look forward to it every year. It's just a creative project, and I hope folks who dive in enjoy there.
Yeah, check it out because I read it last year for the first time and I was like blown away. Like Drew is just like he's insane. He is an
yep,
absolute
yep.
nutter.
It's a good read.
It's and I mean that in a good way. Like it's awesome. Like it got me back into the Eagles last year because I was a bit concerned going into the season because of like another year ahead of AJ Brown drama and stuff. And the day after the Super Bowl, Jalen was being like criticized after he just won a Super Bowl and it was like so Drew did a fantastic job, so check it out. It's going to be online. Drew will post the link. I'll be plugging it constantly on our socials when he's released it.
Yes, sir.
It's gonna be a great read, and I really can't wait to see what Drew's drawn up for us this year. Like, so it's gonna be really good. So
Yes, sir.
so
Can't
yes,
wait.
yeah. So on that note, just to like close out the show, we talked about it before we started earlier. Like I said, I'm going to the London game this year against the Jags, and there's going to be a lot of fans from Philadelphia coming over, which I can't wait. I met a lot of cool people from Philly when they came to London for the Phillies games in 2024, and I can't wait to meet some more Eagles fans and stuff. So we've not me personally, but every time I hear someone calling into WAP who isn't from Philly, and we are not from Philly, we are the They Are Not From Philly podcast. The last like 2 weeks, callers, I've been ripping people that are not from Philly calling in. You know what I mean? Justin's been getting a lot of flack. Corey's been getting a lot of flack from Herb, from Christian, from Aaron, from Mount Airy. You got Aaron and Chuck are on the LeBron train together. They're going to be, so we may not be from Philly, and obviously Drew is from Westchester, but he lives in New York. We may not be from Philly, but we love our Philly sports. We love the Eagles. We love the Phillies. We follow the Sixers and the Flyers very closely as well. We live and die for Philly sports. We are just like the rest of you, where me especially and the guys, we go absolutely insane if that first drive now of the first game of the Eagles season doesn't end in a touchdown. We are going to be going out of our mind. You know what I mean? It's just we are that passionate like the rest of Philadelphia. So we may not be from Philly, but we are Philly. So I'm looking forward to meeting people from Philadelphia, and the likes of Christian and Ravu that are like, giving us a bit of flack. Well, when you come to London, you're going to meet a lot of British Eagles fans because there's a lot of us.
Right.
So, you're going to have to find a way to get along with us and embrace us because we're going to be there with you, supporting Jalen and the boys. So yeah, so that's my 2
And
cents.
you never know. There could be an athlete on a Philadelphia team that actually roots for another team. You never know, because we
exactly.
just had that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well said across the board.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was a fun experience. So there we go. But we're gonna end it there for today. Great pod, guys. Thanks as always. Give us a like, a follow, and subscribe on all our platforms, on YouTube, Spotify, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Well, no, we're not on Facebook, but yeah. So just give us we're on TikTok as well. Follow us on TikTok. I got us on TikTok. So yeah, we'll be back soon. Probably figure out in a couple of weeks, something like that. We'll come back for something towards the end of the Philly season, probably see how they fare, if there's going to be a Red October this year, a very big if, and we'll check in on Eagles preseason as well. So there we go. So thanks, boys, and we'll end it there. Go Birds, go Phils.
Go
Go
Birds.
Birds. Love y'all, man.